What if the biggest changes happening in the United States right now are not the ones making the headlines? This week, America is being shaped by powerful forces, from unusual weather patterns and rising infrastructure pressure, to silent economic shifts and rapid technology expansion that are already changing how people live, work, and spend. So what is really happening in the United States right now? And why does it matter not only for Americans, but for the rest of the world? Let's break it down. Hello and welcome to World Trends Explained. Today we are taking a clear and honest look at what is really happening in the United States this week. Not just today's news, but the deeper forces shaping the country right now. From current conditions to major national trends, here's what you need to know. Right now, the United States is dealing with a mix of environmental pressure and infrastructure stress that is quietly affecting daily life in many parts of the country. Across several regions, unusual and unstable weather patterns are continuing to disrupt normal routines. Some areas are facing intense storms and flooding, while others are dealing with extended heat and drought conditions. These shifts are not isolated events. They are putting pressure on transportation networks, energy systems, water supplies, and emergency response services. In some cities, heavy rain and storm activity have caused temporary road closures and delayed public transport. In other regions, long periods of extreme heat are driving record demand for electricity as millions of people rely on air conditioning to remain safe. The result is growing stress on power grids and local infrastructure. For many households, this already means higher energy bills, disrupted travel plans, and increased concern about local safety. But beyond the daily inconvenience, there is a larger issue developing. Much of America's core infrastructure, roads, bridges, power systems, and water networks, was built decades ago. While maintenance and upgrades continue, the pace of climate-related disruption is rising faster than infrastructure renewal. This is creating a growing gap between environmental risk and national preparedness. Emergency management agencies are now responding more frequently to weather-related incidents than in previous decades. At the same time, insurance companies in some high-risk regions are becoming more cautious, raising premiums or reducing coverage for properties exposed to repeated climate events. For ordinary people, this combination creates uncertainty. People are asking, will my area remain affordable to live in? Will my home remain insurable? Will public services be able to keep up? This week, these concerns are not abstract. They are part of daily life in many American communities. And while weather dominates the short-term headlines, it is only one layer of what is shaping the country right now. Beyond today's conditions, a much larger and longer-term shift is underway in the United States. One of the most important national trends right now is the rapid transformation of the economy through automation, artificial intelligence, and large-scale technology investment. Across multiple industries, including finance, healthcare, logistics, manufacturing, and retail, companies are accelerating the adoption of intelligent systems. These tools are no longer experimental. They are now actively used to manage inventory, optimize transportation routes, automate customer service, analyze medical data, and support decision-making. At the same time, major technology companies are investing heavily in data centers, cloud infrastructure, and AI research hubs across several states. This has two powerful effects. First, it is creating high-demand jobs in engineering, cybersecurity, data science, and advanced manufacturing. Second, it is placing new pressure on the existing workforce. Many traditional office and administrative roles are being redesigned or reduced. Workers are increasingly expected to adapt to new software tools, automation systems, and data-driven workflows. This transition is not evenly distributed across the country. Technology investment is concentrating in specific regions, often near established innovation centers, universities, and research facilities. Meanwhile, some older industrial regions continue to struggle with slower job creation and lower levels of private investment. Another important part of this economic shift is the expansion of domestic manufacturing. Over the past several years, the United States has increased efforts to strengthen its internal supply chains. Companies are moving parts of their production closer to home. This includes semiconductor manufacturing, clean energy equipment, electric vehicle components, and advanced industrial materials. The motivation is not only economic, it is also strategic. Disruptions in global shipping, geopolitical uncertainty, and trade tensions have made governments and corporations more cautious about relying on distant suppliers. As a result, large industrial construction projects are now underway in multiple states. These projects bring short-term construction employment, long-term industrial jobs, and major investment into local economies. But they also raise new questions. Can local infrastructure support this expansion? Are housing markets prepared for rapid population growth in industrial hubs? Will wages rise fast enough to match increased living costs? At the national level, policymakers are facing a difficult balancing act. They must encourage innovation and growth while also managing workforce displacement, regional inequality, and public concern about job security. This week, the deeper story is not simply economic growth. It is economic transformation. For people living in the United States, these changes are becoming visible in everyday life. In many cities, job opportunities are increasingly concentrated in technology-related sectors. This creates strong income growth for highly skilled workers. However, it also increases competition for housing. In some growing regions, rent and property prices are rising faster than wages for service workers, teachers, and healthcare staff. At the same time, remote and hybrid work models continue to reshape how people live. More workers now choose to live farther from city centers. This is slowly changing. Commuting patterns, urban planning priorities, and demand for regional transportation. In smaller cities and suburban areas, this trend can be positive. New residents bring spending power, business opportunities, and tax revenue. But for large metropolitan areas, it creates new challenges in managing public transit systems and commercial real estate. Another major concern for many Americans is job stability. While unemployment remains relatively low in many regions, uncertainty is rising around how automation may affect long-term employment. Workers in clerical, logistics, and routine administrative roles are increasingly aware that technology is reshaping their fields. This has led to higher interest in reskilling programs, technical training, and professional certifications. At the same time, students entering universities and vocational institutions are adjusting their career expectations. There is growing emphasis on data literacy, engineering skills, cybersecurity, and digital communication. For families, the combined pressure of housing costs, healthcare expenses, and education planning remains a central concern. This week, many households are not focused on politics. They are focused on affordability, stability, and future opportunity. What is happening inside the United States does not stay inside its borders. The country remains one of the most influential players in global finance, technology development, international trade, and scientific research. The expansion of domestic manufacturing affects global supply chains. When production shifts closer to American markets, suppliers in other countries must adapt. This can change shipping routes, investment flows, and industrial planning in multiple regions. The United States also plays a leading role in global technology standards. Advances in artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, and cybersecurity developed in American firms often shape international platforms and services. As these technologies spread, they influence how businesses operate across the world. In addition, American energy policy and clean technology investment influence global climate strategies. Large-scale deployment of renewable energy equipment, battery storage, and grid modernization sends signals to international markets. Investors watch closely, governments adjust long-term planning, global technology partnerships expand or shift accordingly. For allied countries and major trading partners, one of the key questions is simple. How fast can the United States modernize its economy while maintaining stability? The answer will influence global economic confidence. Looking ahead, there are three important developments to watch in the United States over the coming weeks. First, monitor how regional infrastructure performs as weather variability continues. Energy demand, transport reliability, and emergency response capacity will reveal how resilient local systems truly are. Second, Watch corporate investment announcements in technology and manufacturing. New factory construction, data center expansion, and research partnerships provide early signals of where economic growth will concentrate next. Third, pay attention to workforce programs and education initiatives. Government and private sector training efforts will determine how effectively workers can transition into emerging industries. Together, these three signals will help define whether the country's current transformation becomes broadly inclusive or increasingly uneven. That's today's global breakdown from World Trends Explained. If you found this report useful, subscribe for more clear and simple explanations of what is happening around the world beyond the headlines. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. If this video helped you understand what's really shaping the United States right now, give it a like so more people can discover this channel. And let us know in the comments, which country should we explain next?